live is the Prix de Triomphe to ParisLongchamp. We're going to cover that directly from our colleagues at the studios at Equidia Pro in Paris. In fact, we can tell you what's going on there now well, let's see what's going on there now. I think they're about to start the actual draw itself. There we are. And this is what they call the tirage au sort for the Qatar Prix de Triomphe on Sunday, 2025. 18 runners, of course, will be being drawn out of there. You've really got to have a low draw to give yourself the best possible chance. We all know that. So I'm sure that the betting for the race is going to go through a bit of a shake-up over the next few minutes or so, depending on what happens when those two gentlemen there start picking the balls out of those baskets, those plastic baskets. There's no sign of any celebrity ex-jockeys there today. I thought they might have been bringing in Dominique Burf or someone like that. But we're going to be joined very shortly, we hope, by Laurent Barbarin, who's going to be joining us this morning. We've got quite a Gallic flavour today on the programme with Chanty and Compiègne. And I'm delighted that the great man is joining us live now. Laurent, bonjour, ça va bien?
How are you? All is okay on this side of the pond, and can't wait for the draw now, Mike. Very exciting time, isn't it?
It's an incredibly exciting time, this, Laurent. I mean, we cannot stress enough, Laurent, can we, that you've got to have a nice draw to give yourself every chance of winning Europe's most prestigious horse race.
Well, when you've got Arc de Triomphe with 16 runners and more, the draw becomes a very, very, very important factor. So yes, it's a critical moment for the connection of all those horses, all those good horses, and the pressure is on already, Mike.
Laurent, at this stage, who's top of your list of fancied runners here? I mean, I've got two or three that I'm sort of still mulling over, but I want to see what happens with this draw now.
Well, that's the thing. I was really waiting for the draw to know and try, but obviously I like the three horses trained by Francis Graffard. I think they all have a real proper chance. I know Kissisana is at a very big price, but she's a very good mare, and she was very impressive in the Prix Jean Romanet. So Gesora is a French Oaks winner. Darius is a lovely horse on the making, and he's going to run for the first time over a mile and a half, but he's bred for it, and he could just find a few extra lengths, up in trip on Sunday. I could tell you I like Aventure. The ground's going to be soft, it's going to be in a favour. Sozi has run very well on testing ground before. He's run well on heavy, he's run well on very soft as well. So, look, they've got the weather forecast. There's rain due tomorrow in Paris. Maybe no rain on Saturday. And maybe no rain on Sunday. But soft to very soft. That's what they are expecting.
Do you know, Laurent, it's perfect timing because they're showing the weather forecast there for rain tomorrow. Are they expecting quite a bit of rain as well, aren't they?
They must do. I think there were talks, around 20 millimeters of rain. So it's, it's quite a bit, and it will definitely affect the ground. We saw the ground yesterday at Auteuil was very soft, but Auteuil is a very special place. It's only half a mile from Longchamp. But when it's very soft at Auteuil, you would say it's good to soft at the most at Longchamp. So it's already a little bit on the soft side.
Well, just looking at last year's race, Laurent, with the first and second, Blue Stocking Aventure, they were both drawn low in 3 and 4. Los Angeles in third was 10, Sosi was 5. That was a typical example of how it does help if you get drawn in the single figures at least.
Yes, and what we find out to win from a big draw, when we look at the charts and the winners from the big draw, they were Dalakani in 2003, Golden Horn in 2015, Saki Trev, they were real dominant horses at their time. And we may not have this profile in the race at the moment anyway. There's no real horse standing out. We've got a right bunch of good horses, top-class horses, but there's no standout. So that's why the draw will have a massive impact.
It will, won't it? I mean, I think I agree with you, Laurent. It is a wide-open Prix de l'Arc, and I think it's a good arc. There's one or two people think that it's not perhaps up to scratch here, but I think it is.
Very good.
I'm
Yes.
sorry, but when you've got last year's runner-up, last year's third and fourth also coming back for trying again, bear in mind that 15 Arc winners have been beaten in the race for the previous year.
Yes.
It's important to have that course form, isn't it?
No, it's very, very important. And that's why probably also I like the horses who have run at Longchamp before. They certainly have a little bit of an advantage over the ones who go for the first time on the track. It doesn't mean that they don't have any chance. No, that's not what I mean. But just, you know, when you race at home, it just gives you sometimes a little bit the edge if it's, you know, if it's a tight arc with many runners, many good chances, you know, it just helps to know the track a little bit.
Now, Lauren, at the moment we've got 18 runners declared to run on Sunday. We understand that the connections of Giovellotto will be making their mind up when they know a little bit more about about the ground, because he could easily be withdrawn if it does rain heavily tomorrow.
Yes.
Oh, we're starting, Lauren. I can't believe it. All the pontificating is coming to an end.
Yes, we're off, Mike.
Right. I mean,
I think they're just mixing now. They're just mixing.
They're mixing. They are. I think both of those gentlemen should be blindfolded, Laurent, quite honestly. Right, here we go.
Should.
We're underway. White birch. Okay. White birch for John Joe Murphy and his team. Big Irish challenger. And he's been drawn 9. Okay, so that's a decent draw for the grey. The last grey to win the Arc, Laurent?
Sorry?
The last grey to win the Arc?
Sorry, Mike. I have a sound issue. I'm
so sorry. Listen,
No,
don't
it's
worry,
okay.
because I can't remember. Alpinista, Laurent.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that was not long ago, was it?
It wasn't long ago. Here we go. Here we go. Now we're talking. Aventure, who's been disputing favouritism with Minnie Hauk. She bids to go one better than 12 months ago. She was drawn low last year. Where is she going to be drawn this time? Oh, this doesn't look good. Oh, 12. I saw the 2 in there. 12. Not bad, Laurent.
It's not bad. It's okay. The draw number 12, I would say. It's a very decent draw. Found Torquato Tasso won from draw 12 in 2021. So it's doable.
I remember. Yeah, Found, of course, won at Chantilly, didn't she?
Yes, that was Chantilly, probably even trickier than Longchamp. So
There she is. There she is winning the
great filly,
the
yes.
Vermeer, chased home by the Diane winner, Jazora, who I think is a player on Sunday, Lauren. I really do. You watch here how she was geared down when he knew he couldn't get to Aventure. Watch this here now. She's still running on.
She's
and
still
he's
running
right
on.
off.
Yeah, I like that. And I said before, the more I was watching this race and the more I like Jazora, to be honest. So
Yeah, I'm the same as you, Laurent. Here we go. Right, the third one out of the bag is Los Angeles. Okay. So last year's third, whose season really hasn't kicked on from a promising early beginning. Let's see where he's drawn this time. Let's see. He's drawn 14. Okay, he's drawn 14. Not an easy draw for him. He was drawn 10 last year.
yes, lots of experience. It did carry a lot of condition in the Prix, will be much sharper according to his trainer, and it's easy to think that he will be sharper as well. He did look quite big going into the Prix, and he'll be sharper. But this year, it just hasn't been the same as it was last year, yes.
Well, Dalakani and Golden Horn are both winners at this century. They've come out of stall 14 to win this, so it's not out of the question. He's a fantastic-looking racehorse, Los Angeles, Lauren, isn't he? He's so powerful.
Yeah. Massive, and that's the thing, to get those horses ready. It's probably not very easy. So this in this case as well is a big horse. So
Right, out next is Arrow Eagle. So that's Ace Impact's half-brother, who's not quite as good. He's a very good horse, but he's not quite as good as Ace Impact. Joris Mendizabal riding for Jean-Claude Rouget, who we send our best wishes to. And he's drawn 16. So his task has become even tougher now, Laurent, after that.
He'd be one of the biggest outsider of the race, for sure. But, you know, if if we could, if he knew the whole story about his little brother, but his big brother, maybe that will help. That would help.
He needs to have a chat with his big brother to run him through the race. I mean, he's a good horse, isn't he? But listen, having 2 ace impacts out of the same mare would be sensational. Right, so his price is not going to alter much. He was a big price already. There's Jean-Claude, who's not been in the best of health recently. But Sotsas and Ace Impact winning in this decade from low numbers as well, the two of them. Okay. Yeah, take your time, sir. It's okay. Now here's an interesting contender. Darius for Aga Khan studs. Now, he is a fascinating contender in those famous green and red silks. Where's he drawn? Mikel Barcelona. You'll be wanting a nice low draw. Has he got one? Oh, he has. We like that, Laurent.
We like that, and at the same time, Francis Graffard always had a concern about this horse being very green and being trapped in between others, and that would be a bit of a concern. Now there is the open straight in place at Paris-Longchamp, so this will definitely be a big help.
I think that's a really interesting draw, that one. Drawn 2, Daydream came out of 2 back in 2011. Enable, when she won at Chantilly, was out of 2 as well. But Laurent, he's going to improve when he steps up in trip. I'm convinced he will.
Yes, I'm sure he will. You probably, just looking at the pedigree, you would not want the ground to be too testing. That would be a little bit of a concern. But, this lad has been shaping up with every start. I mean, the York race, as Francis Graffard says, is better left behind. But otherwise, he's been shaping up nicely. And maybe that Prix du Prince d'Orange was a good trial.
Yeah, when he chased home the Japanese Derby winner. Qualificar, Andre Fabre, who's the king of the Arc. Where is Qualificar, who won the Niel last time out, going to be coming? Will Buick retains the ride for Godolphin, of course. And he's coming out of stall number 8. That's a nice draw. There's no question about that. Workforce and Ace Impact both came out of stall 8 when they won, Laurent.
Yes, it doesn't get much better than that. You have stall 6, maybe 4, and so on. But drawn in stall 8 is very good for this horse. Very handy horse. I'm not going to say he's easy to ride. You always have to ride a race. But he's a very laid-back, relaxed horse. And he showed in the Prix something he had not shown before, a right turn of foot, a proper turn of foot.
Yeah.
I think with the traffic problem, he could have won by a length, maybe 2, this Prix. So interesting horse. Will be in top shape on Sunday.
Well, we can't wait to see how Sosi gets on when he comes out of the hat there. Last of Andre Fabre's great 8 was Voldgeist back in 2019. There was that 13-year gap between him and Rail Link. It was good to see him back in the winners' enclosure again, just 6 years ago now.
Yeah.
4 of those winners in the 90s. Stretching way back to Trempolino and Pat Edery back in 1987, the first of Pat's. Or was that the third? Yeah, it was his third, wasn't it? 3rd in a row for Pat that time.
What was it?
Rainbow Quest, Dancing Brave and
Rainbow Quest,
Trempolino.
yes.
Okay, we've got Sosi. Here we are. And now a lot of people fancy Sosi to go better, 3 better than he did last year when he was 4th. He had a nice low draw a year ago. What has he got 12 months on? Stéphane Pasquier riding because Maxime Guillon prefers Aventure. Oh, look, I love the way the camera pans out. Oh, he's got a great draw. What a wonderful... Andre Fabre, even he will be getting excited now, Laurent.
Yes, he's being gifted with a draw for his 2 horses, Andre Fabre. Sosi, also horse of experience, a good draw, a good start. Stéphane Pasquier will just have to keep it simple, sit in a good place, and then hope for the best. But yes, from there, the job is obviously much easier.
Right, who's this coming out? Oh, here she is, Minnie Hauk, Aidan O'Brien's quadruple Oaks winner, following the same path as Enable, of course, who won all those Oaks before she turned up and won the Arc as well. Can she replicate that fantastic run? Where is she going to get drawn here? She's got 1. Oh, my goodness me. Well, Zarkava 1 from 1 way back in 2008, Laurent.
That was amazing. But she went around the rivals. There was no open straight at the time. And with Christophe Soumillon on board, having the draw installed one is definitely a big asset. Very big asset with that specific jockey on board.
Now, Lauren, just talking briefly about where the pace is going to come from, do you feel as though Los Angeles could be ridden quite handily? And he could go forward and, you know, Minnie Hauk could get herself a decent position?
That would be,
yeah.
For the Aidan O'Brien's team, it would be the ideal plan, I would say. And, you know, who else is there who can possibly make the running? Not too many in the French camp anyway.
Oh, here we go. The first Japanese horse out of the hat there, Croix Du Nord, the Japanese Derby winner. And is this going to be the one that breaks the Japanese hoodoo here and finally win Europe's greatest race? Where's he drawn? They'll be absolutely on tenterhooks right now. Oh, it looks like double digits. Oh, he's drawn 17. I mean, he was top of my list, Lauren, but I'm not so sure he is at the moment now. I mean, that is a draw that
yes,
really is going to make it tough.
And furthermore, you know, the Japanese jockey who hasn't got the experience, you know, so much experience at Longchamp, this is definitely an issue. When you got Soumillon or, you know, one of the top jockeys with a draw stall 7, they will manage something. They know the track so well. But for a jockey, top jockey in Japan, but the problem is, you know, you have to put up with the track. So unless your horse is really, really clear-cut about the others, it just makes your task much more difficult. Not impossible, but much more.
Oh, that's a tough one, that, Laurent, and they must be gutted. Yuichi Kitamura is the man entrusted, of course, with riding this wonderful racehorse. And there we are, 35 runners since 1969 for the Japanese, 4 second places and 2 fourths.
Oh, you read French beautifully, Mike. I'm impressed.
I'm getting there, Laurent, all with your help, of course.
No, but that's unbelievable. They've had 35 runners in the RKS. And,
of course, Laurent, Orfèvre was responsible for 2 of those second places, wasn't he?
That tells a lot. You know, the task for the Japanese horses. Orfèvre, exceptional horse, and still did not manage to come on top. That was very unfortunate, but that's racing. That's part of racing.
Well, Lauren, he was 10-1 in the UK this morning, and I'm following that draw. I suspect he'll be pushed out a bit.
Yeah, he'll probably be 12-1 now.
Yeah, I think so. It won't be easy for him.
No.
But we wish them well. It's great that they've come back and had another go here, particularly with a horse of that calibre. Right, what have we got next? Byzantine Dream. Oh my goodness. Hershey Murphy. Now, if he gets a high draw, the Japanese will be saying this has been. This is surely deserving of a good draw. What do you reckon? Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, it's not ideal, is it?
Well, this is fate, Laurent. Well, listen, Saki and Triomphe both won from 15. It's not the end of the world.
No, but remember how they won it. You know, how I remember Saki at the time I was at Godolphin, the Arc was, I'm not going to say it was a sure thing in the Arc, but God, there was so much confidence in the horse, and Triomphe, he was outstanding. We know that. So that's just sort of it takes to come on top from this draw.
Okay, here's Le Phare down at the bottom. He'd be one of the massive outsiders here for Jean-Claude Rouget.
You know, he had a bit of a muscle strain in the Prix Niel. That's why he did not perform properly. And things are back to normal, and he's much better now. Install 6.
Oh, install 6, okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's the Grand Prix de Paris winner, so, you know, you can't rule him out, can you?
No,
course and distance winner.
Yeah. Sozy was the Grand Prix de Paris winner last year, and to win the Grand Prix de Paris, it takes always a nice horse. And no fluke. This win was no fluke. I can assure you, Mike.
Yeah, and he was a beaten favourite, of course, in the Laurent, which, as you say, he had excuses for. Moving swiftly on, Estrange, here we go. David O'Mara, the Cheveley Park team, the Grey Filly, trying to do an Alpinista. Can she get a nice draw to help her? With the rain that's falling, it's only going to be in her favour. We're going to chat to Chris Richardson later this morning, by the way. Oh, no, we don't like that. That's going to make things very hard for Danny Tudhope.
There was going to be one drawn in stall 18, and it's hard luck when it happens. But
somebody's got to get it.
Somebody
Oh
else.
dear. Cheveley Park's first runner in the Arc, and she's been presented with a very tough task there. Okay. Kalpana, Andrew Balding's filly for Judmont, who's bidding to back up their win with the race last year. A great record they've got in the Arc anyway, with Blue Stocking. Where's Colin Keane coming out of? I suspect somewhere in the low teens or 10. Good draw. Nice draw for Kalpana.
Yeah, very playable draw. Not bad at all.
I can't think of any horses that have won from there in recent years, Lauren. Can you help me on that at all? Or?
No, in the last 25 years, I've got no sign of winners from stall 10.
But there have been in the past, for sure. Yeah, I mean, listen, if you just put that Kempton run down to a prep for the big day, she goes there with form linked to Calandigan, the best horse around. You can't run in this race, obviously.
No, but it's just the race before the Arc that is not fully satisfying. But then again, it's okay. We know she's got plenty of class. She's very good. The Arc has been a long-term target, and obviously she's going in with a proper chance.
Not a bad draw for Kalpana. I think they'll be reasonably happy with that. Right, here's Alohi Alii. Now, this is the horse that just was absolutely incredible in his trial for trainer Hiroyasu Tanaka. Where's he drawn? Can the Japanese get a decent draw for one? Yeah, they can. He's been drawn low. He's been drawn 4. Now, Laurent, he's another pace angle, possibly.
He is a pace angle in front, but you have to remember what Christophe Lemaire said in Japan. He was never able to go ahead because he lacked a bit of early speed. At Deauville, he was let alone in front. The others wanted a horse to be in front. They were not, they were very happy for him to make the running, and he got away with it. So it's a trappy race. We need to. It's difficult to analyze and to have a firm conclusion about this race in Deauville.
Yeah, it is difficult to analyse. I think he's a really interesting contender, though. Right, the Diane winner, Jazora, who chased home Aventure in the Vermeil. You remember last year that Blue Stocking beat Aventure, and it was the same 1-2 in the Arc. Where is Jazora going to be drawn? She has got a high one. No, it's 13. Well, it's high-ish.
It's okay for a filly that is very, very handy to ride. She is I'm not going to say the easiest ride, but she's a very handy filly to ride, and she can be put anywhere in a race, really.
Yeah, she is certainly an interesting one. Lauren, I wasn't sure, though. I mean, Tom Marcon has got a fantastic opportunity here, isn't he?
Yes.
Sure.
When I heard he was on there, I thought, Tom, you've got a proper winning chance here on Jazora.
Giavellotto, who's the winner of the Hong Kong Vase last year, the Cup last year, and beat Kalpana on his comeback. He's got a lovely draw in 5. If he turns up, though, that's the thing, isn't it?
Yes.
We're not sure whether he's going to be suited by the ground there. Certainly, his form on a sound surface is pretty high class. Hot as hell, Jesse Harrington's Group 1 winning 2-year-old he was. He's not been quite as hot this year, but he's going to be coming out of stall number... What do you reckon? 11? So what are we missing? 3, I think. We've got 3 so's. He's got 3.
We're missing
7. So that'll be Kissisana in 7, yeah?
1. Yes.
Here she is. Croix Du Nord's in 17. Kissisana should be in 7 unless the machine's gone wrong.
Yeah, it's gone to 27. No, it's 7. We're lucky.
Right, well, that's the same stall that Sindar came out of when Johnny Murta romped home way back in the year 2000. The brilliant Sindar, one of my favourite Arc winners.
Yes.
For the Aga Khan team. Well, what an interesting draw that was, and I think, there'll be a lot of people that'll be quite relieved about that. The Japanese, however, Laurent, will not be too happy with Croix Du Nord out in 17 and Byzantine Dream in 15. The only one that came out of there with a decent draw was Alohi Alii in stall 4.
Yeah, not tough task for the Japanese. But then again, it's a race. Anything can happen. So Let's see. But there is a very interesting draw situation on the inside with Christophe Soumillon and Mikel Barzalona next to each other's.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a very important play in the first few hundred meters of the race, because those two jockeys, they're very eager, they're very anxious to get a good position. We've seen them sometimes having a little bit of issues in races together, and they are sitting next to each other with two big chances. It's going to be a critical spot to watch those draws, Minnie Hauk and Darius in the first, I would say, in the first 300-400 meters.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? Can you believe it's been 17 years since Christophe last won the Arc?
It's a long time. When was that? Which one was that?
2008, Zarkava.
He did not win since Zarkava. It's amazing, isn't
17 years has passed. Isn't that incredible, Laurel?
Yeah, he's got to break that losing run very soon.
Sumi chasing his third arc. Aidan O'Brien chasing just his third arc as well, extraordinarily. So Minnie Hauk has been drawn right on the inside berth there, next to Darius. Sosi's in 3, Alohi Ali's in 4, Giavolotto, if he runs, is in 5. Lefar, who's been often overlooked since his defeat in the Niel, is in 6. The improving mare Kisisana's in 7. Qualificar, Andre Fabre's second string perhaps in 8. White Birch for the John Joe Murphy team in Ireland is in 9. Kalpana, Andrew Balding's Judd Montphilly in 10. Hot as Hell in 11 for Jessie. Aventure is in 12, and Shibisigo won better from a year ago, so not as well drawn as she was 12 months ago. Jazora, this year's Prix de Diane winner, in 13. Los Angeles 14. Byzantine Dream in 15. Arrow Eagle out in 16. Croix Du Nord in 17. He's going to be pushed out, I'm sure, by the bookmakers. And it's Strange in 18. Don't forget, this race is live on Sky Sports Racing on Sunday. The whole card, Saturday and Sunday. We're live from the track at midday on Sunday. Do not miss it. We're looking forward to it very much indeed.